My name is Rafael Trujillo. I'm an assistant director for intercultural recruitment here at the college. I'm also an Emerson alum, and I have the great pleasure to work with students mostly in Central and South America. Welcome, bienvenidos. Jen?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Raf. My name is Jen Racinos, and I'm the Associate Director of International Recruitment here at the college. I'm also a current grad student in the Masters of Business of Creative Enterprises, and I mostly work with students in Asia, Canada, and Oceania. And I'll pass it over to KK.
Thanks, Jen. My name is Kiki Lee. I'm not part of the admissions team, but I'm from the Office of International Student Affairs. So I'm the International Student Advisor at our office, which will officially change our name to the Office of International Students and Scholars from next Monday. So just spoil that right here. I am gonna be your point person for immigration compliance. So if you have any questions related to immigration, you know where to find me. Hopefully you know. Yeah, very happy to be here tonight.
Thank you both. Really happy that you're joining us. And I think one of the best things about this webinar is going to be the collaboration between undergrad admissions and the Office of International Student Affairs, which will have a different name, but it will continue to do 99% of the work that they're doing. So thank you, Keke, for being here with us. Some of the topics that we're going to be covering today is going to be applying for your I-20, which you're going to be doing really soon if you're not doing it already. Second, getting your F1 visa, maintaining your status of your F1 status, planning your trip to campus, and then we're going to leave some time for questions at the end. With that in mind, I'll pass it along to Jen to start breaking down the different parts of obtaining your I-20. And I'll see you guys towards the end.
Thank you both. Hi everyone again. Today, as Raf mentioned, we're really going to do an overview of the application. So to start off the application for the I-20, to receive your I-20 from Emerson, you will need to submit a few documents. And if you're familiar with this process already, that's great. If not, that's what we're here for. So one of the main documents that we're looking for is an official bank statement. This bank statement will be showing the amount of the cost of tuition. So for example, for our Boston-based campus, we have the 87,903 US dollars. But if you are in the global BFA, that is a different price tag. So really be mindful of which program you're applying for, because this will impact how much you need to show in your bank statement. Keep in mind that this amount you can deduct any scholarship from. So for example, if you have a $30,000 scholarship, you deduct that from the 87,903 if you are a Boston-based campus. And so your total would be 53 or 57, sorry, 903 USD, for example, if you have any scholarships. If you have any questions about that or any clarification, please let us know. But essentially, you can deduct any scholarship from that amount. And in addition, we do request a letter of financial sponsorship, and we will cover more in further slides on that. And then the international student contact form, as well as a copy of your passport. So for the bank document, the amount that you show does have to be in liquid assets. So that means that it needs to be money that is readily accessible. So for liquid assets, the account type listed on the document has to have the exact amount in the account. So as I mentioned earlier, if it is 87,903, if you, for example, if you have no scholarships, that would be the exact dollar amount that you need to show in your bank document. If you have any scholarship, you can deduct that from that amount. The types of accounts that are allowed are checking accounts, savings accounts, loan letter, certificate of deposits, and must have a maturity date of at least August 1st. The documents must be in English, so keep that in mind as well. You might need to get those documents translated if necessary. And the documents must be dated within the past 6 months. So that's also something that we encounter. We sometimes get older documents, and we will require you to have ones that are more recent within the last 6 months. Letter of financial support. So for the letter of financial support, you can have more than one sponsor. In this letter of financial support, you can actually have up to two sponsors. If you do have more than two, you can submit this various times for the amount of sponsors that you do have. What is important is that it must be signed by all names on the account. It cannot be altered. And again, they must be consistent with the bank documents as well and show the exact amount necessary. In addition, you will be filling out an international contact form. This is the easiest form to submit. We're really asking for biographical data. So we'll ask for your name, your preferred name, email address, things of that sort. It's all available through your application portal, and it asks basic information questions. But it is important that you submit this as early as possible by June 15th. If possible. And this just gives us opportunity to work out any logistics that you might need in regards to your I-20 process. So the earlier the better, so that we can be there to support you along the way. In addition, we do require an I-20 passport copy. This must be the biographical page, and it should be at least 6 months, have at least 6 months of validity. So it's really important. If you know that your passport is about to expire, this is a great time to go and renew that passport. You know that sometimes these wait times can be long, or it can be expensive to get an express shipped passport. So please make sure you kind of take account of when your expiration date is for your passport so that you do not prolong any of this process. And with that, I will pass this over to KK to explain the F1 transfer process.
All right. So, for students who are currently attending a U.S. school and having an F1 status, if your current program ends within 5 months from the Emerson program, then you will be eligible to apply for a transfer, which will allow you to carry the same F1 record to Emerson. Being that, with that, you don't have to pay for another CEWS fee, and you will be more flexible in terms of staying in the US after graduation from your high school, or traveling in between. So to do your transfer, we will need to have a copy of your I-94, which is your most recent entry record that says you have been entered as an F1 student. We need a copy of your current F1 visa, which will show that your visa is still valid, it's not expired. We need a copy of your previous I-20, so that needs to be something from your current school. And then we need you to fill a transfer in form, which is available in the admission portal. So yeah, so you will be eligible if your current program ends within 5 months from your Emerson program's start date. So if this is something you wanted to do, make sure you fill out the transfer in form and submit all the documents. All right, but I think for most of you all, you do need to obtain your visa, as this might be your first time studying in the US. Um, so once you receive your I-20 from the admissions office, you do need to complete the following steps. So first of all, you have to pay for the CEWS fee, which is $350 on CEWS. And then you have to complete this online non-immigrant visa application form, which is the DIS 160. You will also need to pay for the application fee for your visa application and interview, which is $185. You will need to upload a photo of yours, which is kind of like the square American passport style photo. So you want to make sure the background is white, there's no major shadows on the wall or on your face. And lastly, you will have to schedule your interview with the local embassy. Next slide, please. All right. So to prepare for an interview, there are definitely a few steps you need to complete. First of all, you want to make sure you have your I-20 signed and printed. Make sure you bring a physical copy with you. You also need an acceptance letter from Emerson showing that you have been admitted to a U.S. school. And then your financial documents showing your ability to cover your educational expenses for a year, which as Jen previously mentioned, if you have a scholarship, that will also be included as part of your financial support. You also must demonstrate non-immigrant intent. Things like your tie to your home country, your residence abroad, like your families and siblings abroad, stuff like that. You will also need to have your valid passport. You have to have a non-immigrant visa application form filled, submitted, paid your fee, have the receipt, and then you want to have a copy of your passport photo. So in terms of your interview, other than, explaining your tie to your home country and stuff, you also want to be prepared as the interview is going to be conducted in English. So you want to make sure you are really familiar with your scripts. You will be able to speak for yourself, talk about your programs, like where are you studying, what's your major, and maybe something about your career plan. Also be brave. Like there's a lot of people interviewing for US visas, so your interview will be really quick. It's usually about a couple minutes or so, so be short on your answers. And also make sure you have all of your supporting documents. And then lastly, you want to make sure, talking through your non-immigrant intent, which is kind of like you're here to study. You don't want it to stay here afterwards, kind of. So just, have all of these really prepared for interview, and practice it when you have time. Next slide, please. Yeah, hopefully you will, get your interview secured, also have your visa approved. Then you will move on to the stage where you're flying to the US and study at Emerson. So while you're in the US, there are also some rules that you need to follow to maintain your F1 status. So first of all, once you have your visa approved and you have everything ready, make sure you enter the US no more than 30 days before your program start date. So the program start date is actually on the I-20, so you want to make sure to check that date, and book your flight accordingly. Once you're here, you also wanted to check in with our office, OISA, which will probably be changing soon, within the first 15 days of arrival. So we use a platform called Teradata. This is where you submit all of your immigration requests. So you will do a check-in form on this website. So we'll be able to, track your record and make sure you're here, and you are, maintaining your status. And also, you will need to take a full course of study each term, which is usually 3 classes, 12 credits. While you're in the US, while you're attending school, you'll also be able to work for 20 hours a week on campus during semesters, and you can work for more than 20 hours during breaks. After 1 year of study here in the US, you might be eligible for off-campus work permissions. So if that's something you're interested in, you're very welcome to talk to us. Next slide, please. So, when to meet with a noise advisor? First of all, I am one of those advisors here on campus, so be sure to remember my face. Yeah, so you know, anything immigration related, you should first talk to us before, you make any decisions or take any actions. First of all, definitely when you begin on-campus employment, that's something you wanted to check with us. Uh, when you apply for off-campus internships, you do need to get work authorization, so that's something you'll be working with us. When you change your majors, program, or degree level, when you change your education level, when you transfer to a new school, like for example, if you're transferring from your high school to here, or if you want to take a leave of absence, take some break time, that's something you need to talk to us. If you're traveling outside of the US, if you're moving to a new address, if you're requesting for program extension to, to have more time to complete it, or if you have questions about academics or campus support resources and you don't know where to go, talk to us. We're here happy to help. Next slide, please. Yeah, so communities at Emerson College, we do provide a lot of immigration and campus support services for international student community. We do immigration advising for students in F1 status. We do work authorization. So if you want to work either on campus or off campus, that's something you need to work with us. We also have a designated staff member who is helping students with English language learning. So we have a lot of coursework and programming offered for that. We also host International Student Pre-Orientation, which happens on August 24 to 26 this year. It's a 3-day programming where we have a lot of social events to have you get connected with your friends. And also we have a very important visa session that talks about all the immigration regulations you need to know when you first get here. So stay tuned. We'll share a lot of announcements and a lot of new communications about this program. Lastly, we do a lot of events and initiatives that reflect Emerson's global voice. We do about 70 programs a year. Some are educational, some are cultural, some are really fun. So yeah, follow us on all of these fun things we're sharing with you. Next slide, please. Yeah, so for contact information, just so you know, before you get to here on campus, my colleagues Jen and Rafael will still be your main contact for anything admissions related. Once you're on campus, we know you've been in good hands. So now when you're on campus, you will be working with our office. So we have 4 staff members here, Andrea Polpa, which is our director, and also me here, the international student advisors. And then my colleague Max, who is primarily working with grad students, but he will also be working with undergraduate students from time to time. And then lastly, my colleague Amy Reynaldo, she is the English language learning person, so anything English language related can go to her. Yes.
Thank you, KK. And thank you all again for joining us. As we mentioned earlier, this is really an overview, and we have great resources here at Emerson that are really here to support you, ease that anxiety, and answer any questions along the way. I know that it's a really big decision to decide where to go to college, and we're thankful of, you all considering Emerson. So anything that we could do to kind of ease that process, let us know. We're really here to help you.